What is up, guys? It's your boy Jay. Like, subscribe, and share. In this video, I'm going to be telling all the spoilers for Pokemon Pikachu Detective. And so, if you don't want to hear the spoilers, what happens? They also give you this cards. So we're going to tell you all the spoilers. So if you don't want to hear the spoilers, what happens? Now's the chance to exit the video. But before you go, check out links in the description. So in the beginning of the video, they have Mewtwo captured in a tank, and then he escapes. And then you see him going after this car, and then he kind of like blows up this car. So Mewtwo talks psychically in the video, like you can hear his thoughts, but he's not moving his voice. Until later, but this is like way later in the video, where he some guy changes minds with him, and then he uses his mouth when he has the human body. So in the next scene, basically him, the main character, and his friend are trying to capture Pokemon, which is Cubone. And then he throws a Pokeball at him, and then the Cubone gets mad and basically like throws the bone at him, and he falls down. So right away in the beginning, you can see that the main character really doesn't like Pokemon that much for some reason. So he gets 5 voicemails on his phone, and he finds out his dad was in a fatal accident. So next scene, he's going to Rhyme City. So he basically goes to his dad's apartment where he finds a purple serum called Serum R. So he accidentally opens it, and these other Pokemon that actually smell it, they start going really crazy from the Serum R. And they start attacking him, and then meanwhile, someone had already broken into his apartment. It was actually Pikachu, and then he doesn't know who it is though, but then you see it's Pikachu. And for some reason, he understands what Pikachu is saying, and he can talk with Pikachu. Only him. So then him and Pikachu are running away from those crazy Pokemons that had smelled the Serum R. So then they meet this detective girl before they got to the apartments. She's like, I know a good story when I see one. And so they meet the girl. Well, they met her before that, but then they meet her again after. Actually, she works for the news, and she's not a detective. So then Pikachu really likes coffee. Pikachu loves coffee, so they go to this coffee bar that's right across the street from the hotel. And then Pikachu's saying like, this is my hotel, but you know, I'm gonna let you spend the night over here. So they go into this like grungy part of town. They meet Mr. Mime, and then they see that the mime actually knows who they are. So they start questioning Mr. Mime. Obviously, Mr. Mime doesn't say anything, so they have to play playing mime games with him, or mime with him, and then they finally get him to talk after a while. So they end up at this Pokemon battle that is in Rhyme City. It's illegal. It's an illegal battle where the first is Gengar. Gengar is fighting Blastoise, and then Blastoise loses. And then the guy confronts the main character in Pikachu and says, Pikachu was here before and he messed up my Charizard, so he wants a rematch, and then I'll give you all the information that you want. So then Pikachu puts him in there. Pikachu forgets how to use his powers, and then he forgets how to use his powers. Not only that, he gives Charizard the R serum before he starts to go into battle, and he goes really crazy. And it's just like he's running from him almost a lot of the time because he doesn't know how to use his powers. He forgot everything. And, Charizard's on this serum. So the guy, the main character, jumps in the stage. He gets like, I want to say Pikachu. So he starts stepping on his Charizard's tail. And then, so when Charizard's going to attack the main character, he says, what are you doing? Get out of there. So the guy trying to get him out, the guy that's having the Charizard's owner says, what are you doing? Get out of there. He had his jacket filled with R serums, and they all popped when they both kind of fell down because I guess Charizard flung him, or something happens to where they both fall down and all the serums go off. It's like a smoke, it's like a smoke bomb. So he's like, oh crap. So then all the Pokemon started going crazy, and it's like really chaotic. But actually, there's a magic carp that saves him because Pikachu's like, because it's like Magikarp is useless, so he's like, I think we could use him, and he evolves to Gyarados, and then throws water at all of them, and they fly out of the building. And then when they fly out, they get arrested by the cops. So he ends up back at his father's boss. I forget his name, but then he ends up back at his father's. This guy, the main one of the lead detective's office. So then the detective says, you're just experiencing the effects of your father's passing. You have to take it easy, stuff like that. So the main guy's actual name is Tim in the movie. So Tim is the character I was talking about, the main character. Tim and Pikachu actually find out are believe and feel in their jelly. Pikachu has this saying where he says, I feel in my jelly. And then he's like, Tim is like, no, I don't like jelly. I'll say in my bones. So then he says that they think that the father is alive. So the father's boss says he's delusional, shows him a quick video of the car being blown up and flipped over, and says nobody could survive that. So they don't believe it still. They go find the original girl who had a lead on the story. So there's a girl that works for the news, CNM or something like that. And anyways, they go straight to the lab where they find the testing for Mewtwo. And they have this place locked down with biohazard signs. So when they go inside this place, this laboratory, they set off all these cameras. The cameras are watching them, and then they see all these Pokemon that are being tested on, the huge Pokemon. They're more powerful Pokemon they're tested on. And so one of the guys on the camera, he's on the way, he sees him, he's on the way somewhere, but he sees him in this box because they set off the security cameras. They set off the security, so he sees him and he lets out some of the Pokemon from the cages to basically attack them, Tim and his group. Meanwhile, Tim and Pikachu are in this other room. They kind of split up. The girl's with Psyduck. The girl's Pokemon is Psyduck, the news girl. And anyways, Tim and Pikachu are in this other room where they can see this image, and they're like holographic images. They show you like the past and stuff that happened in the past in the room. So in one of the holograms, the first one I believe, they find out. No, the first one they see the lab exploding when Mewtwo breaks out, and then Pikachu said, "I'm gonna rewind it to the earlier one," and they see the dad leaving. They see him leaving, and they see that they said, "Go find Mewtwo because they need the strongest Pokemon." They're creating the R serums, I believe, out of Mewtwo. So after that, Pikachu and Tim meet up with the intern for the news girl, and her Pokemon, which is Psyduck. They see that something's dropping from the ceiling. Pikachu's like, "What is this?" That wasn't there before. And then they look up and they see these huge Pokemon. I don't remember the name of these exact Pokemon, but they have like sticky hands. They can stick to the wall. Frog. They're like a frog type Pokemon, really long tongues, but they stand up. They're like the evolved form of that frog Pokemon. And they start chasing after them. Pikachu tells Tim, use a fire alarm. He hits the fire alarm and it sprays so they let go of the girl. And they all start booking it. They start running, and there's like a ton of these things running after them. So then they get them cornered. But one of them, they're throwing these little things at them. They're throwing these. They're made of like, looks like ice, and they spin, and they're throwing them at them, and they break the glass that leads to these huge turtle things. I don't know what they're. I've heard the name of these Pokemon, and so then they run through. Then they're running through this forest, and then those frogs are still chasing them through the forest. And then Psyduck is there, and they say, Pikachu says, "This is a really good time for Psyduck to get a headache because the whole time before, Pikachu says, Psyduck is basically like a bomb when he's ready to go off when he has, So when Psyduck gets sick, and so when Psyduck gets stressed out, he explodes. And then he explodes at one point, and then these frog things go flying. The ground. This part was really trippy at the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I started like, I feel like I was in like a dream or a nightmare. It seemed like a nightmare. The earth started cracking, and then the earth started going inside the ground like an earthquake. And then Pikachu's like, this has to be an illusion from Psyduck, but it wasn't. The whole ground was shaking and moving, and it's actually these huge turtles. They're on these huge turtles. For whatever reason, they go back inside the ground. I don't know why. You think they're going to be moving around and stuff, but they don't. They go back inside the ground. So Psyduck's blast basically set them off to where they were like, basically woke them up. That's what happened. Psyduck's blast woke them up, and they went back to sleep. While this is happening, at the very end, a big rock hits Pikachu on the head, and they fall in the water. And so they land on dry land. So then a Bulbasaur comes out, and these little other Pokemon, like, I don't know the exact name of them, but they have 3 mushrooms on their heads. And he's like, Bulbasaur, I need to heal Pikachu because Pikachu is really messed up. Pikachu's like, I'm not in a good state, and he thought Pikachu was gonna pass or die or whatever, and then Pikachu really was going to. So they took him, and the Bulbasaurs didn't let the girl pass, the intern girl, and then they led him to this rock, and then he's laying on the rock, and the little mushroom things are so there's these little mushrooms staring around Pikachu, and then they go away, and he's like, where are you guys going? So they're all leaving with the Bulbasaurs, right? Anyways, Mewtwo comes out, and he's like, whoa, crap, it's Mewtwo, what are you doing here? So then Mewtwo puts his hand, however, and then brings Pikachu back to life, and heals him, whatever. And then he's like, how come you did this? And then in the middle of him showing what happened in the crash, basically these three electrocuting other Pokemon. They're not Magnemites. There's some other kind of electrocuting. They may not even be Pokemon for that matter. But they get Mewtwo and they hold him down and they put him in a truck. This one guy, he's like an evil guy. They look like technology, and they put him in a truck and then take him back to, you know, wherever. Yeah, so he just had Mewtwo tells Pikachu, "Thank you for helping me," and he restores some of his memory back. So then these people from the lab took him away. So after that, Tim and the girl go back to the city to talk to her boss. Her boss owns C&M. He's the main guy there. So that means he creates the news and what they show on the news. At this time, Mewtwo, they already sent him to this guy's office. So then you realize the head guy is evil and not Mewtwo. So then he takes over Mewtwo's body wearing this thing on his head, some kind of technology. He takes over Mewtwo's body. And that day he was planning a huge parade with thousands of Pokemon and people. So after that, he reaches the Serum R, and all the Pokemon floaties and all the Pokemon start going crazy. And then you find out that Mewtwo has this other ability where he's able to put the souls of the humans into the Pokemon. So then everybody turns into their Pokemon and they're very confused. Then Pikachu has remembered to use his power, how to use it, then he starts to fight Mewtwo. But remember, it's not actually Mewtwo, it's a human being that is controlling Mewtwo. Then Pikachu keeps fighting him, Mewtwo is about to destroy him. Then Mewtwo says, "You're no match for me, Pikachu," and then Pikachu says, "I'm only distracting you." Yeah, and meanwhile, Tim was he was fighting Ditto. Ditto was like changing, there's a girl with glasses, it's actually Ditto in the movie. When the movie is like beady eyes, when they move the glasses. So the girl acting as a spy was the evil Ditto that can transmorph. So Tim goes ahead and removes the thing. He removes the technology from the guy's head, and then Mew turns back into the other body, and they switch back to normal bodies. So Mewtwo tells Tim and Pikachu something very, very important. Before he tells them, he goes and he says, "I'm gonna fix everything that this guy's messed up." So he goes and puts all the bodies back, and he destroys the balloons. So then Mewtwo tells Tim and Pikachu where his dad actually is after he gives them the memories. He said, "The whole time your father has been with you." So then he shows Pikachu, and then he puts the dad back out of the body of Pikachu, the soul. And of course, you guys know who the voice is of Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds is the actual father of Tim. And it's pretty much the end of the story, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and share. I know it's kind of long. Check out links in the description. Become a Patreon member today for only $1. And peace out. Link in the description.